What is going on, guys? Jason Burke here, Styles Clash for Life, coming at you on YouTube, and tonight I am wrestling with myself. WWE Extreme Rules 2016 just wrapped up a mere 30 or 40 seconds ago. I am here to bring you guys the match-by-match results of the show, talk about each match quickly, let you guys know who won, what happened, and what should happen next. Very good show tonight overall. Extreme Rules has always been, for the last several years, one of the better shows, pay-per-view events of the year for them. Always an underrated show where a lot of weapons and hardcore stuff comes into play. And again, this was no exception. This was a very good pay-per-view, one of the best so far this year, and also one of the best booked overall. Only one or two little minor snafus, but start to finish, very good show, very good matches, very good lineup. So I'll go over real quick. In the pre-show, we saw Big Cass take the Dudleys out. He's certainly getting a push with Enzo being out. He's got the size and the look, and he's delivering so far. I'm really proud of what Cass is doing. Hopefully he gets a feud in, unless Enzo's ready to go. As soon as Enzo's healthy, though, put Enzo and Cass back together. They are, a tag team for the long haul, hopefully. But Cass is doing well. Also, Baron Corbin beat Dolph Ziggler in the pre-show match. Solid match, a little better than last month, just because I guess the finish was better. About, a little short 8-minute match or so. Solid. Ziggler bumped around well, sold for most of the match. Corbin's still a little green. He needs to add a few more things to his arsenal, but he does play a good heel, like I said last month. So this was solid, just like last month's, but a little better. Corbin gets the win here, so as he should have. And I must say, in my predictions, I only had one match wrong out of the 8. I was 7-1 in predictions. So Corbin gets the win, like he should have. Now he can move on to a bigger feud, probably. Maybe something with Apollo Crews or maybe Callisto. I'm not sure. There's a bunch of names out there right now with something, nothing really on tap. So we'll sort of see where Corbin goes. But I'm sure he's moving on from Ziggler. And I'm not quite sure where Ziggler goes at this point. But again, solid effort. Corbin wins. The club beat the Usos. Anderson and Gallows take out Jimmy and Jey Uso in a very fun tag match. One of the more underrated and solid matches of the night. I actually had this probably maybe the third or fourth best match of the night overall. Again, very solid top to bottom card. On a regular show, this would have been an amazing match, show-stealing match. But being Extreme Rules, this was only third or fourth, fifth best, somewhere in the middle there. But very good effort, lots of false finishes, lots of just crazy moves back and forth. Anderson and Gallows are very intense in the ring. You can tell they mean business. They come across very realistic in their offense. The intensity was there for sure. And the Usos, even though they are very stale and not popular with the crowd, they can deliver in matches. They can wrestle. They have good wrestling matches. So again, this was very good, and the right team won. The club is the newer team. They could use the victory, and this is what should have happened, weeks and weeks ago. This should have been, the club should be undefeated right now, but either way, they get the big pay-per-view win. So well done. We go on to Rusev over Callisto. Rusev is your new U.S. champion. And this, again, was another very good match. One of the third, fourth best match on the card. Again, another match that, if this was on a regular show, would have been amazing. But a very good match back and forth. Early on, Rusev with the power game, dominates. Then Callisto starts busting out his stick and move, high-flying moves. Very similar to his feud with Ryback. You saw the power versus the speed. And very well done overall. Callisto bumped around well, used a lot of his usual high-flying stuff. Always mixes it up and throws a couple of new moves in there every single time. He did a moonsault to the outside from the top turnbuckle in this match. Rusev also used a lot of good power submissions. Used a bear hug, a torture rack. He was using his power and using his weight advantage in the match, so good psychology in this. And in the end, Callisto gets hurt by getting tossed off the top rope onto the apron. And Rusev won't let him go. Eventually keeps attacking him despite the referee pushing the two apart. Locks in the accolade, bends him backward at a nasty angle. So Callisto looks tough and doesn't really lawfully, doesn't lose by a regular means. He gets injured and fights through it, but has to eventually submit. So Rusev is now the U.S. champion again. All I can say about this is Rusev can raise the U.S. title prestige. He did before, he can do it again. He deserves the push he's getting. He should be one of the top heels in the company. I like this for him. I just feel bad for Callisto. I hope that he doesn't go back to being in a tag team with Sin Cara or getting lost in the shuffle now, because even though he's a smaller guy, he is so electrifying in the ring and so innovative, and he's over with the fans. So I hope he doesn't kind of get lost in the mix with all these talented guys right now. So hopefully both guys are due for a rematch and a push down the road. But Rusev gets the win here in the one match that I got wrong on this card. Then we had New Day over the Vaudevillians, retaining the tag titles. Nothing special here. Solid match, nothing bad. But again, nothing special. Vaudevillains do some good basic tag work early on. Big E gets the hot tag. We see a couple of dives. Big E does that crazy spear to the outside, as he usually does. Xavier looked good in this match. He sold well, and he actually got the pinfall in this. So Xavier finally gets some recognition, which is nice. Again, nothing special. It had to follow two very good matches, but it was solid, and the right team won because the Vaudevillains are not very over. They get very silent crowd reactions, so I'm not sure how much longer they're going to be pushed for pay-per-view matches, but the New Day is the right team. They get the win. Well done. Then we had the co-match of the night. There's two match of the year candidates, in my opinion, on this show. This was a lock for match of the year for me early on in this show, and then we had the main event later on. So I say this is probably the match of the night and one of the two match of the year candidates, but it could go either way, this or the main event. Anyway, The Miz retains the IC belt in a four-way against Sami Zayn, Cesaro, and Kevin Owens. This was 20 minutes of just start to finish amazing work. The crowd was super into it, chanting the entire time. All four guys hit all their special moves. Cesaro used his power in his uppercuts. Kevin Owens was doing cannonballs. Zayn and Owens had their back and forth stuff going on. All four guys just looked like $1,000,000. You couldn't book a four-way any better in 2016 right now. This is a match of the year candidate, if not the match of the year so far in 2016. Please go out of your way to see this match. If you're not going to watch the entire show, watch this and watch the main event because they are excellent. Miz is the right guy. He sneaks in after other guys hit their finishers and pins Cesaro. So the cheating champion retains, keeps the hot act going. Zayn and Owens can still go on and feud forever as they should. And Cesaro, I'm not sure what they do now. Maybe they slide him up into a upper echelon picture. I'm not sure what they do with him. Possibly maybe feud against Rusev for the U.S. belt. I don't know, but he took the pinfall here twice in a row now to The Miz. So we'll see where this goes. But Miz's reign continues, and I think it should. Then we had Ambrose over Y2J, Chris Jericho in the Asylum match. This was okay. Sort of like last month, it just went way too long. Their match last month was very solid, but was way too long, and the crowd was dead for it, just like this month. Crowd reaction was not there, and this went on for it seemed like a half an hour. It just went way too long. Some good spots in here, some good use of the straitjacket, the fire extinguisher. Ambrose dove off the top of the cage with a flying elbow. Also put Jericho through some thumbtacks. They had some pretty intense stuff here. It just took too long to pick up. It lagged between spots. You had good spots, and then you had a lot of stalling and lagging in between, and the dead crowd didn't help this. So again, not bad, but not as good as it could have been. I think this actually could have benefited from being 5 minutes shorter. But again, the right guy wins. Dean Ambrose needed the win here. It's his match. He's the guy sticking around. Jericho's not. So Ambrose gets the win. That should be the end of this feud. And I'm interested to see who goes where now, if Jericho sticks around at all, and if Ambrose goes back to the main event, or what happens here. So very interesting for these guys in the future. Then we had Charlotte retaining the women's championship now, over Natalya in a submission match. Good psychology early on. This feud has really been killed by bad booking. These two ladies have put on two really good matches now back-to-back months, and just been hampered really badly by poor endings. We had a good back-and-forth encounter last month with the Montreal Screwjob redone over and over again. And now this month we had a really good back-and-forth submission match. Good counters. Natty worked over Charlotte's shoulder. Charlotte worked over Natty's leg. Back and forth, good submissions. Indian Deathlock, half crab. Natty, I think, used a Juji Gatami at one point. We saw a lot of good submissions and counters in this match. But the ending out of nowhere, Dana Brooke comes out to Ric Flair's music in a Ric Flair robe. For really no reason at all, at least we know of right now. Distracts Natty. Charlotte gets the win with the figure eight. Natty taps out. So kind of random, and kind of the crowd didn't really feel it. I don't know. Good for Dana Brooke to have something to do. She's vastly improving. She's a good heel, and she's getting better in the ring. So good for her to find something to do while Emma is injured. But this felt kind of weird, and the booking was kind of wonky on this. So as good as the match started out to be, the ending was kind of just fell flat for me. But Charlotte was the right person to retain. I think Sasha is the one to beat her for the belt at SummerSlam. And the main event, we had another match of the year candidate, the second one on this show. Roman Reigns retains the championship against AJ Styles in an ODQ match, and this was insane. Both guys bumped around like crazy. They started off very intense. The crowd was hot the entire time. They brawled all around the arena. At one point, Reigns launched Styles up onto the glass pre-show announcers table, and then Styles dove off with a phenomenal forearm off the glass table to the floor. So many crazy spots in this. AJ gets backdropped from one announce table to the other. He's like 10 feet in the air, and he falls back first through the table. Reigns bounces Styles' skull off of the ring post, and then launches him with a powerbomb through the table. Reigns dives for a spear, and Styles moves, and Reigns crashes through the barricade. Just all this just craziness back and forth. Lots of finishers, lots of high impact. Again, of course, the club and the bloodline both get involved here. Reigns takes out Anderson and Gallows, and Styles goes crazy with a chair, not taking out all three toward the end. So a few false finishes here. Styles hits two Styles clashes, including one on a chair, and Reigns kicks out. So I'm sure the internet's not proud of Super Reigns kicking out of all these finishers. That could be improved. They shouldn't be doing all these finisher kickouts and stuff. But again, intense brawl, big spots. Both guys just taking spears and Superman punches and just back and forth bumps like crazy. Styles took a huge beating here. And again, fending off the Usos and Reigns with a chair at the end made him look very strong. He went for the phenomenal forearm at the end, but was caught by a spear with Reigns for the pin. So amazing match, crazy spots, match of the year candidate. Reigns wins here as expected. No big heel turns or anything. But at the end, Seth Rollins did buy in and make his return tonight. I knew that he was due for a return in the next week or two. I figured either this week on Raw or next week on Raw, but instead we have Rollins back tonight. He comes out to a major ovation because the crowd chanted "We want Rollins" several times. Comes out to a huge ovation, gives Reigns a pedigree, and then stands over him holding up the World Championship. So that is your next feud for Reigns. Rollins is a major face right now coming back. We're getting Cena back as well in 2 weeks on Raw. So two huge main eventers are back now. And what's already a very strong wrestling roster. These guys stole the show tonight, and now you have two main eventers back on the scene. It's going to be very interesting to see who does what. I would love to see Styles go feud with Cena now, like the best indie guy versus the best company guy feud. I would love to see Rollins against Reigns and then Styles against Cena for SummerSlam. That would be amazing. Plus, Money in the Bank is in 4 weeks, so hopefully someone like either Dean Ambrose or Kevin Owens or Cesaro gets the win on that. So lots of intriguing scenarios here. What did you guys think of the show? What did you think of Rollins' return? What was your match of the night? What was the best match for you? Results, who should have won? What do you guys think? Tell me down below in the comments. And until the next opening bell, guys, I've been wrestling with myself, and I will see you all real soon. Thank you.